Okay, so I didn't complete telling you that prime numbers and all. No, that I will take it tomorrow, because for BSc students, as we have combined class, I will be able to take only those topics, which are common to both. Okay, so tomorrow I will be taking the prime numbers, and we will execute that program in the lab. So today we have OA lab, tomorrow we have C lab. Okay, so today we will see some additional features of for loop, and hope it is that yesterday's for loop program. No, I will explain it again, and then we'll move on to the features. So we were explaining about the for loop. What are the three actions within the for loop for the control variable? In this example, answer in the chat box which is the control variable in this example for loop for printing the multiplication number or multiplication table of a particular number accepted. Which is the control variable? Answer in the chat box. Okay, Agash P. Tejas, Naveen, all have answered as I. Yes, correct. I is the control variable. What are the three actions inside the bracket of a for loop? Inside the condition bracket of a for loop, what are the three actions inside the condition bracket of or the parenthesis of a for loop? The control variable, first part is initialization. The second will be checking or comparing. Agash has written comparing. So it will be like testing the control variable, and the third one will be the increment or decrement, right? There are three actions. For the control variable inside the for loop. First part will be the initialization part, second part will be the testing part, and the third part will be the increment or decrement of the I variable or the control variable. So inside the body of the loop, we will be printing the value of the variable. So here we have the control variable along with the variable n. So in this program, what is the aim of our program? Here we are aiming at printing the multiplication table of a number accepted. If I want to print the multiplication table of 5, if I want to print the multiplication table of 5, enter the multiplication number. I'll be accepting 5 in the number n. Got it? So using percentage f, we'll be accepting the value n in the variable called n. So 5 in the variable called n, and using a for loop. Here the control variable is I, and we know we have initialized I to 1, and in the first statement, so whenever this condition is satisfied, what is our condition? I less than or equal to 10. What is the first value of I? I is 1. So when 1 is, whether 1 is less than 10, yes, it is less than 10, then it will execute the body of the loop. So in the body of the loop, we have given C equal to I multiplied by n. Star means, asterisk means multiplication, right? So instead of I, we will be substituting it with 1. Instead of n, we will substitute with the 5. So what is 1 into 5? 1 into 5 is 5. So what is the C value now? C value will be 5. So in this printf statement, already get ready. Now what will be the value printed using this printf statement? When we give percentage D star percentage D equal to percentage D, and the three variables are I, N, and C, what will be printed in the output screen? All answer in the chat box. Nirma, Janani, correct. So you have executed also yesterday. So most of you had sent me this program. So instead of this percentage D, all listen here. Instead of the first percentage D, whatever variables we are passing, the first variable value will be printed in place of first percentage D. The second percentage D, it will be replaced by the second variable, value of the second variable. And then it is followed by an equal to symbol. After that, the third percentage D will be replaced by the value of the third variable, which is our third variable C. So how it will be now? the first variable is I means here percentage d, instead of that it will come as 1, and then this multiplication symbol will come, and then the next is percentage d, right? There it will be the value of n. What is the value of n? It is 5, right? So it will be 1 multiplied by 5 equal to, instead of this percentage d, value of c. What is value of c? 5, right? So it will be printing like this. So in each iteration, it will be incrementing the value of 5. So now in the next iteration, after printing this, it will go back here. It will be incrementing the value of 5. It will be checking for the value of 5. And then again, if it is true, it will go and execute this line, right? So we know that it is an iteration, and for this iteration, or for this loop to be completed, this, or in order to come out of this loop, we have to, this condition has to be false. Whenever it is true, it will execute this. So here, which is the false case, in the last case, when I equal to 10, I equal to 10. So when 9 also, it will be printing 9 star 5 equal to 9 star 5 means 9 into 5 equal to 45. It will be printing. After that, it will go and increment the value of I to 10. I to 10. Then it will be checking whether this condition is true. Now I is 10. Whether 10 is less than 10? No, 10 is not less than 10. Then it will check whether 10 is equal to 10. Yes, it is equal to 10. Then it is true, right? Then what will happen? It will execute the body of the loop. Again, it will multiply the 10 star 5. 10 star 5 is 10 into 5 is 50, right? So it will be again printing 50. After that, again it will move to the incrementing section, and I will be incremented to 11. Then what will happen now? Now the I value is 11, so it will be checking whether 11 is less than 10. No, 11 is greater than 10. So this condition is not satisfied. Then it will check whether 11 is equal to 10. No, this also no. So what will happen now? It is false. The condition turns out to be false. So what will happen? It will come out of the for loop and execute the next line, which is our get ch. So this most of you had executed. As I didn't finish yesterday, I was just repeating it again. So you know that when you execute this program, it will be printing in the output screen enter the multiplication number, because we gave a printf statement over here. And when we enter 5, it will be accepted in the variable called n. Got it? Then we will be executing like in the for loop. I have given C this side. Actually, if C equal to I star n, it will be replacing the values, or it will, in each iteration, it will be printing the value of what all values. It will be printing I star n equal to C. So here in each step it will be printing like this, 1 into 5 equal to 5, 2 into 5 like that, up to 10. So I just gave dot dot. So in the last step it will be 10 star 5, or 10 multiplied by 5 will be 50. Now we are moving on to the for loop. So for the for loop, for loop is an entry control loop. Entry control loop. Entry control loop. So the do while alone is an exit control loop, and we studied yesterday the syntax of for loop. What is the syntax of for loop? Within the for bracket for the condition we will be giving, and we will be giving 3 expressions separated by semicolon. Are you seeing this semicolon? So the 3 expressions. First expression is nothing but you will be just assigning the initial value. So first expression is for the expression means what is it? It is a combination of operand and operator, right? Expression is a combination of operand and operator. So don't get scared seeing seeing that ma'am is telling one expression. Expression means something with an equal to, right? Which is connecting an operand and an operator. Our m equal to 5 or I equal to 1. This is also an expression, right? It is a combination of operand and operators. Equal to is an operator. So here this can be the simplest expression, or it can be a bigger expression, like here are you able to see x equal to m plus n by 2. This is an expression, right? You can have an expression also. Got it? So that's what initialization. Here x value is initialized by m plus n by 2. Suppose m is equal to 2 and n is equal to 4. What becomes the initial value of x? 2 plus 4 is what? 6 by 2 becomes 3. So initial value of x is, we are initializing x to 3. Got it? So this is nothing but an expression which will be initializing the x variable. Are you getting? So here, listen carefully, I'll be asking questions. So you know that here, the expression one will be for the initialization. Second expression will be for, it will be a Boolean expression. Second expression will be a Boolean expression. What is a Boolean expression? An expression which will return either true or false will be a Boolean expression. Here it should be, the first one, no, it should be an assignment because it is an initialization. It should have an equal to. The second one will be a Boolean expression which will be either returning a true or false. Got it? And the third one will be either an increment or a decrement. So, you know, increment will increase the value of the control variable and decrement will be decreasing the value of the control variable. So this is the proper syntax of a for loop, but you know that we will be seeing other ways in which the for loop condition can be given. So don't think that this is the only way which we can use. As I have given the first example with the same manner or the same syntax what is given over here. First is the initialization, the second is the testing, and the third will be the increment or decrement. So now we are moving on to another type in which, you know, here we are having a for loop with the two variables. What are the two variables which are used? What are the two control variables? This one. So suppose, you know, here in the second example, I have given, you know that in for loop we will be separating the three things. What are the three things which we are having? Initialization part, testing part, and the increment or decrement part, right? So what is the initialization? Initialization part is having two variables here, p equal to 1 and n equal to 0. Got it? So here I'm using two variables for initialization, and I'm checking the two conditions, like if n is less than 17 and p is less than 16, then only I should execute this printf statement. Got it? And both in n and p values I'm incrementing. That means here there are two control variables. What are the two control variables? P and N are the two control variables. You can, if you have one more cases, if you just want to initialize one variable, instead of how to initialize, actually we will be initializing either when we are declaring the variable as an integer variable. So when we give integer, so when we are declaring integer p, we can give integer p and integer n. You can give it directly, but if you initialize when you are declaring also, you can initialize it to 1, right? So instead of initializing over there, if you are not using p variable as a control variable also, you can just give it within the for loop. There is no error. So this when they give for debugging contest and all, you should not tell this is wrong. This is also possible. And here I am using two control variables. Even if p is not a control variable also, I can initialize in the first part. Got it? I will show one more example. So this is also correct. Here there are two control variables, and so that both the variables are initialized. Both the variables, you know, with an equation, Boolean expression I am checking, and so only our aim is this should be returning true or false, the second part. The third part is increment of the both the numbers. And one more way, I have one slide for each of these cases. Just listen now. So as I told, you can have an expression also. Listen here, you can have an expression for the initialization. So here, this example, what is the expression, what is the initialization of the control variable? Which is the control variable in this example? All of you answer in the chat box. Which is the control variable in this example of for loop? Are you all able to see? All are looking in mobile phone. No, that's the problem. Which is the control variable in this for loop? Are you able to see? Answer in the chat box. Let me see who is able to answer. Which is the control variable? Okay, Kusum, Rahul, Divyasri, Manikanda, everyone has answered. So here, Jeevan, Asha, Janani all had answered. Here, X is the control variable. Seeing M and N, don't think that M and N are the control variable. Here, X is the control variable. Are you getting? So here X is the control variable. Tell me what is the value to which the X value is updated in each for loop. What is the increment or decrement done to the X value? Is it an increment or decrement? Tell me first whether the control variable X is incremented or decremented. Tell me. If you're not answering in the chat box, I'm not going to give the attendance now. Okay, don't think that if you just give attendance in the beginning, I know a few students who will be always answering. It's very easy for us to check. Don't think that we'll be counting. We'll be just uh, make it as descending or ascending. In your alphabetic order, we will be making, and I will be able to see how many questions you have answered. Most of the time I have seen some students will be answering only once. Now onwards, I'm not going to give attendance. In the beginning, we were just waiting for that, the class to be familiar and all. So those who are not answering in between, Ananya, are you there? Ananya, I have noted also some students always, only once they will be answering. Ananya, are you there? Ananya, are you there? You can message in the chat box. Ananya, then answer in the chat box. Which is the increment operator over here? Which is the increment or decrement done? Which is whether it is incremented or decremented, that you first tell me. Which is the control variable? Which is the control variable? Answer in the chat box. If you are able to raise the hands, you can answer in the chat box also. It is increment. What is the expression given for increment of X? Give in this example. Tell me, you are telling it is increment, no? Tejas, Johnson, all are incrementing. Suppose X equal to 10. What is X, X by 2? Is it increment or decrement in the next step? Suppose X is 10. What is X by 2? What is X by 2? 5. Then in the next iteration, X value will be 5. First in the first iteration, X value was 10. Then in the second, it is 5. That means increment or decrement. Decrement, right? Understood? Here it is decrement. Decrement by 5. Got it? Depending upon the value of X. If X is 8. X is 8 means in the second iteration, X equal to X by 2. What is X by 2? 8 by 2, it will be 4, right? So depending upon the X value, it will be always, if you are doing X equal to X by 2, it will be decrement. Understood? It will be decrement. Here, the first initialization value is M plus N by 2, and the Boolean expression is X greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, it will execute the body of the loop. And X equal to X by 2 is a decrement operation. Now, in the next example, so we can have, don't think that only direct assignment will be there. You can write an expression also. Solving that, we will be able to get an initialization as well as increment operation. Got it? Now, in the next example, in the example 4, I have kept one slide for each of these with the explanation, but I am just briefing out here. I'll explain it again. So as I told, the first expression will be the assignment, second will be the Boolean expression, and third will be an increment or decrement, right? All these three will be separated by 2 semicolons. First, after the initialization, we'll put a semicolon. After the testing, we also will be putting a semicolon, but there is no semicolon at the end of for loop. Are you all listening? So tell me what is the difference. So tell me whether this statement for the for loop is correct or not. So here what I have done is, without giving initialization part, you see it is blank. I have started with a semicolon. The second part, which is a Boolean expression for testing the control variable, I have mentioned. And the third part, which is not, which is again an increment or decrement, is not mentioned. Are you getting? So here I have missed out the other two conditions, that is initialization also not mentioned and the increment also not mentioned within the for loop condition. Where I have mentioned now, initialization is mentioned before the for loop. But it here, this is the initialization. To what value we have initialized? Tell me first, what is the control variable for this for loop given in the example 4? What is the control variable given in the example 4? Yes, good. So M is the, what 4 you are telling? Okay. So Janani has answered. You have answered correct. Suchankar, Nirma, everyone. Asha. Here M is the control variable. Initialization. What is M initialized to? M is the first value of M is 5. What it? M is 5. Tell me after what is the increment for the control variable? What is the increment? Usually we will be giving increment or decrement after the semicolon in the bracket, right? But what is the increment and where it is given? It is given within the body of the loop only. Same effect will be there. After printing the body of the loop, that is printf statement, after that it will be incrementing. Same as how we mentioned over here. It will be incrementing and then it will be testing the condition, right? So here, what is the, if m equal to 5 in the first loop, in the second loop, what will be m value? What will be the m value in the second loop? What will be the value in the second loop? Tell me. The increment is now what? Increment I have given m equal to m plus 5. So it will be 10. Good. All are listening. Ligid in the first it is m equal to 5. When m equal to m plus 5 is the, so the initial value of 5 means value of m was 5. So 5 plus 5 becomes 10. Got it? In the second iteration, m becomes 10. So this will be checking whether now after increment, no, it will be checking the testing condition whether m is not equal to 10. Got it? So now in the second iteration, m value is 10. It is not equal to 100. Sorry, not equal to 100. If it is not equal to 100, then it will be printing the value of m. So answer in the chat box. What all will be the values printed for this for loop? All of you answer in the chat box. What all values will be printed? After 3-4 values, you can just put dot dot. But tell me what all values of m will be printed. Answer in the chat box. Let me see who is able to answer first. 5 to answer in the chat box. Only Janani has answered. Nirma. So initial value is correct, but the final value is not correct. Janani and Nirma and even Asha. Janani now correct. 5 to 95, right? Nevin, only up to 95 because it will be until m is not equal to 100 only it will be printing. When it is 100, it will exit from the body of the loop. Got it? So when it is 95, it will be printing. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 up to 95. When it is not equal to 100 only, it will be printing. When it is equal to 100, it will not be printing. Understood? See always, because these type of questions, it will be asked for the interviews and all. Okay. So this will be, you should be taking care when you get a code snippet like this, you should execute line by line. Understood? M equal to 5. And then we will have debugging contest and also you should be checking like this, one line, first m equal to 5. Write down somewhere and then you see in this for loop what will happen. It is checking only the condition like m is not equal to n. Now the current value of m is 5. So it is yes, right? It will be true. Then it will be printing the value of m. Then it will be incrementing like that, no, step by step. How the compiler will be executing? Like that, you have to execute and substitute the values of m. What is the variables? Now, the next type of for loop, this is actually a mistake which you all will be doing, but the semicolon, no, semicolon, you should be all aware of using. All the executable lines should be ending with a semicolon, except the looping statement. So except the you can tell that as the entry control loop. Do while also it's ending with a semicolon, right? Do is not ending with a semicolon, but while is ending with a semicolon. For, listen here, for loop should not end with a semicolon. Where is ending here? After this bracket, you should not put any semicolon. All these lines or the statements which are mentioned in the body of the loop should be ending with a semicolon, while the for loop should not be ending with a semicolon. Is it clear? So this, if you are if you want to delay, so nowadays if you run any code to delay the execution of the of your C program or any of your system applications, you will not understand the difference. Before and all, no, you are having fast processors now, no, dual core processor and all those things are there. Now you will not see a slow execution. So when we were actually doing C programs, in order to delay the execution of the program, we were using one for loop. Here, this type of for loop, that means from j value 1000 to j value greater than 0 means up to 1. In each step, j value will be decremented. So the first value of j is 1000 means second loop, no, it will be decremented. That is 999, 998, 997 up to 1, j value up to 1. Until it is greater than 0 means j value will go up to 1. What is the body of the loop here? What is the body of the loop? Body of the loop is given as a semicolon. Got it? When it encounters a semicolon, that means this is the body of the loop. Then it again go back to this decrement operator. It will test, and again this body of the loop, if it is true, it will execute this body. What is body of the loop? One semicolon. Again it will go back. So 1000 times this for loop will be executed. So with this line, with this one line, you can hold the execution for 1000 milliseconds. Now it will not take milliseconds also now, but I'm telling to hold the execution for some time. For creating a delay, you can use this code. Are you getting? So usually we will not use this, but it is not an error. It is not caught by the compiler as an error. Got it? Even if you put semicolon, it will not be showing any error. You will run the program and you will see I'm not getting the expected output, because for loop, if you are not putting the curly bracket also, right, it will be without curly bracket, one line will be taken as the body of the loop. That is the problem. Now semicolon will be taken as the body of the loop. Got it? So it will be executing this semicolon. A semicolon means nothing. So it will just increment and it will check the condition, again come and execute the semicolon. It will not print semicolon, but it will just move from 1000 times to this line to this line. Got it? And next is at the end of for loop, if I give a semicolon also, compiler will not throw any error. When you compile, you will see 2-3 errors and all, right? But if you put a semicolon at the end of the for loop, it will not show a error. Are you listening? It will not show a error. Yesterday's program, I think Nevin had sent, I think, with putting a semicolon at the end. So it will not show an error but he's not getting the multiplication table printed. Why? Because it is not executing the body of the loop. It is executing this as the body of the loop. Are you getting? Whatever printing lines we had given for printing the multiplication table, it is not getting printed because this is taken as a body of the loop. A for loop should not end with a semicolon. Is it clear? So these are the main features of the C program. So this only I have kept it in a separate slide. I'm just explaining or one line of explanation is given over here. Additional features of the for loop. So as you can see, more than one variable can be initialized and you can be and each of these when you are initializing two variables, suppose I'm using a variable p, it is not, tell me in this example, all of you listen and write in the chat box. In this example, which is the control variable? I have two variables over here, right? In this, this is same as this. I'll tell you. Which is the control variable used in this example? Some are telling P, some are telling N and P. So what is the actual control variable? Some are, most of you are answering P. Why you are telling P? Here I have used P only for initialization. Here also, here also. Here in this condition for loop, I am checking all testing and incrementing is done for the variable N, right? So why you are getting confused? A variable which is initialized and which is incremented and tested is N, right? Here instead of giving P equal to N outside the for loop, I am just giving it inside the for loop. That's all. So it is not P the control variable. It is N which is the control variable. These tricky questions will be asked. Understood? Johnson. So here N is the control variable. Got it? So here N is the control variable. These tricky questions, it is very interesting. This for loop, what all we can do. So this and all you should be aware. Here the control variable is N because we are initializing N and we are testing the condition and also incrementing the N value, right? Only thing is I just mentioned P equal to 1 inside. You can mention it outside also. You can mention inside the for loop. That doesn't mean that P is the control variable. Instead of writing like this, I just wrote it inside. Understood? So you can use or you can just initialize a variable inside the condition. Okay, so it doesn't mean that P is a control variable.